So, I want to talk about the inconsistencies between Melanie Gibb's story and David Warwick's story in Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing. The most important one that I think was when John Pryor had asked Melanie Gibbs and David Warwick what had happened on Sunday the 22nd in regards to a trip that they all took to visit a vacant property near Chad Daybell's house. And if you'd see Chad Daybell's property, it's completely surrounded by vacant lots right near where the children were buried. In the testimony, Melanie Gibb was asked who all went to this viewing of this property, and she clearly said it was her, Alex Cox, David Warwick, and Chad Daybell. Well, when David Warwick was asked the same question, who all was there, his very first person that he said was there was Lori Vallow. Sorry, I had to switch out my mic. It was kind of acting up. So he says Lori Vallow was there as well as Chad Daybell, Alex Cox, he, and Melanie. So my question is, who was watching JJ? Also, why the inconsistency with one saying Lori was there, one saying she wasn't? And Melanie and David, it seemed like both of their demeanors were really off when they were answering these questions about this property viewing. So I just felt like there's something more to that. The fact that they viewed this property, which they don't remember very much about, but they viewed it. It was right next to Chad Daybell's house, and I feel like they're just saying this because they want a reason for why their GPS would ping right next to Chad Daybell's house where JJ was actually buried. This is also the same day that Chad had said before that he saw Alex holding JJ while he was sleeping during a podcast, even though later on in his testimony he denies ever seeing JJ that night. So I just feel like it's possible that something else more sinister was happening near Chad Daybell's house where the children ended up being buried between all of these people. And I think that they're obviously lying about something. Otherwise, why is their recount of everybody who was there completely different? And then also you'll see how Melanie says that she saw Alex come in holding JJ that night between like 9 p.m. and midnight. And then he asks David Warwick the same question. David Warwick denies ever seeing JJ that night, even though in the affidavit and in the police report and all that, David Warwick says that he specifically remembers seeing Alex Cox holding JJ's sleeping body because he thought it was a tender moment. So that's just my theory, and I shared it on Reddit a while ago, and people really disliked it, but I still hold true to that. And then recently, Lori Daybell's lawyer has come forward and said that Melanie and David Warwick were actually eagerly involved, and so I think that even gives more merit to my theory.
Did David and Chad go to deal with some real estate matters together?
I did as well, and
Oh.
so Alex was there too.
Oh, that was news to me. I wasn't aware you went as well. Where did you guys go?
We went to a lot that was close to Mr. Daybell's home.
And what time was that? Do you recall?
It was sometime in the afternoon. I don't recall exactly.
Okay, sometime meaning between 12 and 5 or 6?
I would say either late morning or early afternoon.
Okay. And the purpose of that was for what, ma'am?
Chad wanted to show this piece of land to David, and he encouraged him to consider building on that land.
Okay. It's your boyfriend. Is your boyfriend in the real estate business, ma'am?
General contractor.
General contractor. Okay. Was Lori Vallow present for that?
No.
Was Alex present for that?
Yes.
2 or 3 times you saw Mr. Daybell was viewing a piece of property. Is that correct?
Yes,
And that was at what time? That was on the Sunday, the 22nd?
it was a Sunday. It was Sunday. I can't remember if it was late morning or afternoon.
And who was present at that real estate discussion?
First, it was Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, Melanie Gibb, and then Chad showed up later with a realtor.
Okay. And where was that located, that discussion and that meeting? May I offer a suggestion,
or I'm
Judy?
trying to,
May I offer a suggestion that it was at a piece of property close to Chad Daybells?
yes,
So at that point, Miss Vallow and your girlfriend at the time, Miss Gibb, were there. Then you showed up, and then Mr. Daybell showed up with a real estate agent and himself. So there were 5 of you there. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. And how you talked a little bit about Alex carrying JJ back into Lori's apartment.
Correct.
Do you recall when that was approximately?
As I shared yesterday, it was sometime between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight-ish,
Did Alex stay in the apartment that night?
and not to my knowledge.
Well, how big of an apartment is this?
There are 3 bedrooms upstairs and none downstairs.
So with you in one bedroom, and at some point later that evening, did you, Miss Vallow, and your girlfriend, Miss Gibb, go back to Lori Vallow's apartment that night?
yes,
And you did a podcast, is that correct?
yes.
And that was what day, sir?
Sunday night, the 22nd?
Okay, and on Sunday night, the 22nd, did you see JJ Vallow?
No,
Did you stay with your girlfriend the entire time during that podcast?
yes,
And she was with you the entire time, is that correct?
yes,
Since you were with Melanie Gibb the entire time during that podcast, if she were to say that she saw JJ Vallow, you would have seen JJ Vallow as well. Would that be fair, sir?
yes.
Speculation. Does not judge.
Overruled.